As easy as 1, 2, 3, perhaps not quite, but the maths exam these pupils in South London sat today needs to be tougher, according to ministers. Those who'd just finished the 1 3/4 hour paper weren't so sure.
Making it harder is going to change a lot, and it makes us feel that what we're doing is sort of easy, and we've got the easy road when we haven't, clearly.
Do you think it was a bit of a breeze?
Yes, but only because I worked really hard. I revised numerous hours a day.
Michael Gove had hoped to scrap GCSEs entirely, but has settled for reforming them instead. Pupils in England will have less coursework and fewer modules, instead taking exams at the end of 2 years. The new GCSE will be graded by numbers from 1 to 8, rather than the current letters A* to G. In maths, pupils will study more algebra, statistics and probability, while in English literature they'll study at least one Shakespeare play and a 19th century novel.
Announcing these reforms right in the middle of the exam season hasn't exactly endeared the Education Secretary to either teachers or pupils. But he insists these reforms are necessary and they're not just change for change's sake.
By making GCSEs more demanding, more fulfilling and more stretching, we can give our young people the broad, deep and balanced education which will equip them to win in the global race.
Labour said it was another rehash of attempts to revive O-levels and introduce the EBAC.
The Secretary of State is cutting back on resits for students, but affords himself a fourth attempt at GCSE reform.
Put them back up on the board again, you can see what you think.
Meanwhile, in Scotland, they're moving in quite the opposite direction, introducing more coursework at the expense of exams.
We have to remember one of the main reasons or the main drivers for a curriculum for excellence is to raise attainment. So by having the continual assessment, that's allowing the young people to develop at a pace and a challenge that is appropriate to them.
But some business leaders, in England at least, are convinced that Mr Gove's back to basics approach is the right one.
We see young people without adequate English and without adequate maths to come into the workplace, and those skills are absolutely essential in the work environment. So this focusing on core elements, I think, is very, very important.
This isn't quite the revolution Mr Gove had wanted, but these reforms, unlike his previous attempts, are likely to be implemented and change the way children in England are tested. Libby Vina, ITV News, South London.